You spent $300 on something you're already tired of, and the box is still sitting in your hallway, unopened. The real high was clicking buy now. Everything after that was just paperwork. This is not an accident. This is not a character flaw. This is a system so precise, so mathematically calibrated, that it can predict the exact moment your excitement will die and replace it with the need to buy again. And the most terrifying part? The blueprint for this trap was drawn up almost a century ago, in a windowless office on Madison Avenue, by men who understood your brain better than you do. We live in the first era of human history, where the arrival of a product feels like a funeral. The delivery driver rings the bell. You open the door. You see the package. And in that moment, something inside you collapses, not because the product is bad, but because the chase is over. The wanting is gone. And wanting, it turns out, was the only part that ever felt good. They call this progress. I call it the longest con ever run. And to understand how deep it goes, you have to go back to the beginning, to the exact moment when American capitalism discovered it could make more money selling the craving than the product itself. Let me take you back to 1929. The year the stock market didn't just crash, it evaporated. Millionaires became beggars overnight. Families who had 3 meals a day were suddenly splitting 1 potato for dinner. Factories that had been running 3 shifts went silent. The entire machinery of American consumption ground to a halt, and for the first time in decades, people stopped buying things they didn't need. This terrified the men who ran the country. Not because they cared about human suffering. They cared about something far more important to them: the survival of the system itself. Because here's what they realized in those dark years of the Great Depression. The American economy wasn't built on necessity anymore. It was built on desire. On convincing people to buy a second car, a nicer couch, a newer radio, even when the old one worked fine. And when desire died, the whole pyramid collapsed. So they brought in a man named Edward Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud, the first person to call himself a public relations counselor, which was just a polite way of saying professional manipulator. Bernays had spent the 1920s teaching American corporations how to sell products by selling emotions. He made women smoke cigarettes by calling them torches of freedom. He made Americans eat bacon for breakfast by paying doctors to say it was healthy. He didn't sell products. He sold identity. He sold the feeling of being the kind of person who owned that product. And in the 1930s, as the country was crawling out of the Depression, Bernays and men like him were hired to solve a very specific problem. How do you get people to keep buying, even after they have enough? How do you turn consumption into a reflex, a need, a way of life? The answer they came up with was brutal in its simplicity. You don't sell the destination. You sell the journey. You don't make people happy with what they own. You make them happy with what they're about to own. You turn shopping itself into the product. Let me be clear about what this meant in practice. In the 1950s, after the Second World War, America was the richest country in human history. Factories that had been making tanks and bombers retooled to make washing machines and television sets. Soldiers came home with money in their pockets and the GI Bill in their hands. The suburbs exploded outward like a slow-motion bomb, and every single one of those new houses needed to be filled with stuff. But here's the problem the manufacturers faced. A washing machine lasts 15 years. A refrigerator lasts 20. If you sell someone a product that works, they don't need to buy another one. And if they don't need to buy another one, your factory shuts down, your workers go home, and your stock price crashes. So they invented planned obsolescence. They started making products designed to fail. Light bulbs that burned out faster, stockings that developed runs, cars that rusted on purpose. But even that wasn't enough. Because even a broken product could be repaired. What they needed was something more powerful. They needed psychological obsolescence. They needed you to throw away things that still worked, simply because they felt old. This is where the advertising industry became something more than advertising. It became a system of constant, low-level torture. Every magazine ad, every television commercial, every billboard on the highway was designed to make you feel incomplete, to make you look at your perfectly functional car and see a relic, to make you look at your living room and feel embarrassed, to make you believe that the life you were living was always one purchase away from being good enough. And it worked. By 1960, the average American was exposed to over 500 advertisements per day. Today, that number is closer to 5,000. Your brain is being hit with more manipulative messages before breakfast than your great-grandparents saw in a year. And every single one of those messages is engineered to create the same feeling: incompleteness. The sense that you are missing something, that you are not enough, but you could be if you just bought this one thing. But here's where it gets truly diabolical. Somewhere in the late 20th century, they figured out that the purchase itself was the peak, not the ownership, the purchase, the moment of transaction, the click of the button, the swipe of the card, that microsecond where you go from wanting to having. That's where your brain releases dopamine. That's where the high lives. And once they figured that out, the entire game changed. Because if the high is in the buying, not the owning, then the product doesn't matter anymore. It could be a pair of shoes. It could be a course on productivity. It could be a subscription to a meditation app that you'll never open. The product is irrelevant. The product is just the excuse your brain needs to justify the hit. This is why you feel nothing when the package arrives. This is why the thing you wanted for weeks sits unopened in the corner. This is why you're already scrolling, already searching, already building the next craving before you've even touched the last one. You're not shopping for products. You're shopping for the feeling of shopping. You're chasing a high that evaporates the second you catch it. And the system knows this. The algorithm knows this. Every website you visit is designed around this knowledge. The shopping cart, the one-click purchase, the save for later button, the email reminders, the limited time offers, the countdown clocks, the free shipping threshold that's always $20 more than what's in your cart. Every pixel on your screen has been A, B, tested 10,000 times to maximize one thing: the speed at which you go from wanting to buying before your rational brain has time to interfere. This is not capitalism as your grandparents understood it. This is not buy a thing, use a thing, buy another thing when it breaks. This is a closed loop of artificial craving, a hamster wheel that spins faster the longer you run on it. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, you know it's happening. You can feel it happening, and you do it anyway. Because here's the thing about dopamine: it doesn't care about your happiness. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It's the chemical that says, that thing over there, that's going to make you feel good. Go get it. And your brain releases dopamine not when you get the thing, but when you see the possibility of getting the thing. The moment you add it to your cart. The moment you start imagining yourself owning it. That's the hit. And once you complete the purchase, the dopamine crashes, because there's nothing left to anticipate. The wanting is over, and without wanting, there's just nothing. An empty space where the craving used to be. And your brain, desperate to feel something again, starts scanning for the next thing to want. This is why people buy things and never use them. This is why closets are full of clothes with tags still on. This is why garages are packed with exercise equipment that never got assembled. This is why hard drives are full of courses that never got watched. The purchase was never about the product. It was about the feeling of forward motion, the illusion of becoming, the sense that you were taking action, making progress, moving toward a better version of yourself. But that better version never arrives, because the system is designed to keep it always just out of reach. One more purchase away, one more upgrade away, one more item in the cart away. Let me tell you about a study done in 2008. Researchers at Stanford scanned people's brains while they shopped, and they found something fascinating. When people saw a product they wanted, the nucleus accumbens lit up. That's the part of your brain associated with anticipation and reward, the same part that lights up when a gambler is about to pull the lever, the same part that lights up when an addict sees their drug of choice. But here's the key. When people decided to buy the product, a different part of the brain activated, the insula, the part associated with pain and loss, because spending money hurts. It triggers a small burst of psychological pain, a sense of loss, even when you're buying something you want. So your brain is caught between two signals, the pleasure of anticipation, the pain of payment, and the entire science of modern e-commerce is designed to maximize the first and minimize the second. Make the wanting as intense as possible. Make the payment as painless as possible. One-click checkout, saved payment methods, buy now, pay later. Installment plans that make a $600 purchase feel like 4 easy payments of $150. They've turned spending into a frictionless experience, a reflex, a twitch of the thumb. Because the longer you have to think about it, the more likely that insula is going to win. The more likely you're going to remember that you don't actually need this, that you have 3 other things just like it at home, that you're trying to save money, that this is, in fact, insane. But they don't give you time to think anymore. The flash sale ends in 2 hours. There are only 3 left in stock. Other people are looking at this item right now. 17 people have this in their cart. The price might go up tomorrow. The algorithm knows exactly how much pressure to apply, exactly how much fear to inject, exactly how to make you feel like waiting is a risk you can't afford to take. And so you click, and the dopamine surges, and for one perfect moment, you feel good. You feel like you've accomplished something, like you've solved a problem, like you've taken control of your life. And then the package arrives. And it's just a thing, a piece of plastic, a bit of fabric, another object to add to the pile, and you feel nothing. Or, worse, you feel disappointment. Not because the product is bad, but because it didn't deliver the feeling you were promised, the transformation you were sold, the better life that was supposed to come with it. But the system doesn't care, because by the time you've realized this, you're already scrolling again, already building the next craving, already finding the next thing that's going to finally, definitely, absolutely make you feel the way you're supposed to feel. This is the trap. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every ad becomes a manipulation. Every product page becomes a hunting ground. Every email notification becomes a little hook trying to pull you back in. The whole game is rigged, and it's rigged against the part of you that wants to be free, that wants to be content, that wants to stop running on this wheel. So what do? How do you escape a system that's embedded in every screen you look at, every street you walk down, every conversation you have? The answer is not what you think. The answer is not minimalism. It's not Marie Kondoing your apartment. It's not buying less stuff, because buying less stuff is still playing the game. It's still thinking in terms of consumption. It's still measuring your life by what you own or don't own. The real answer is to kill the wanting itself, to recognize that the craving is not coming from inside you, it's being planted from outside. And once you see that, once you really see it, the whole system starts to lose its power. Stop browsing. Stop window shopping. Stop scrolling through products you have no intention of buying, because every time you do, you're training your brain to want. You're fertilizing the craving. You're keeping the loop alive. Unsubscribe from every marketing email. Block every ad you can. Delete the shopping apps. Remove the saved payment methods. Put friction back into the process. Make it hard to buy. Make it slow. Make it deliberate. And here's the most important part. Find something real to want. Something that can't be delivered in a box. A skill that takes years to develop. A relationship that requires actual presence. A project that has no finish line. Because your brain is going to want something. That's what brains do. The question is whether you're going to let Amazon decide what that something is, or whether you're going to choose it yourself. The men who built this system understood something profound about human nature. They understood that we're driven by desire, not satisfaction. That we're happier chasing than catching. That the journey matters more than the destination. And they took that truth and weaponized it. They built a $1 trillion machine that turns your natural human drive for growth and meaning into a compulsion to click buttons and fill carts. But here's what they didn't count on. The same truth that makes the trap work is also the key to escaping it. Because if the chase is better than the catch, then you don't need the product at all. You just need something worth chasing. Something real. Something that doesn't arrive in 2 days with free shipping. The box in your hallway is not the problem. The box is just evidence. Evidence of a system that profits from your dissatisfaction. Evidence of a game you've been playing without realizing you're playing it. Evidence that somewhere along the way, you outsourced your wanting to an algorithm that doesn't care whether you're happy, only whether you're buying. You can't win this game by playing it better. You can only win by walking away. By recognizing that the best purchase is the one you never make. That the best product is the one you never want. That the real luxury, the only luxury that matters, is not needing anything at all. The system will keep running. The ads will keep coming. The emails will keep arriving. The algorithms will keep learning. But none of it works without you, without your attention, without your desire, without your click. And the moment you stop giving it to them, the moment you stop feeding the machine, you'll discover something they never wanted you to know. You were enough the whole time. You didn't need the upgrade. You didn't need the next thing. You didn't need any of it. The trap only works if you keep reaching for the bait. Stop reaching and watch how fast the whole thing falls apart.